Hello. Hi, Cool Gamer. How are you? Welcome. I'm just waiting for more people to show up. Hopefully, I can make this quick. Hey, Melissa Scott Coffee Quiz. How are you? Welcome. Hopefully, I can make this quick. I was gonna like move this. I already moved this like once and I didn't want to move it again. So I just really want to fulfill the live and hopefully I can keep it under 1 hour. Under 1 hour. Do you think that's possible? Is it an interesting topic? We'll find out. I'm trying. Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure. Hold on. I do have the earpiece on. Uh I see 7 people in the live. I see 7. Hey, 704 Valley Lady. How are you? Welcome. I am hot. I am cold. I think the AC just came on. You can hear. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. Sometimes when I have this earbud in, I feel like I can, like, it's on, but sometimes I can't tell. It's hard for me to tell. Uh, okay. Wait, what did you say? 704, you said, hello, I made one. Oh, yes, you did. You sure did. You did make one on time. Yep. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Right, I shared myself on my wall. All right, so if you hold on, let me even find out what did I name this. Let me look at the live and see what I named it. Right, that way I can like make sure that I keep the topic to what it says on here. Okay, so the topic for today is, like, every once in a while I want to do content show and it's not necessarily always about relationship, but it's going to be like a topic that is of interest or that relates to like the stuff that's going on in the sectors, right? I know that the girls are fighting. I was watching that before coming over. The girls have been fighting in all the different sectors and hopefully that live will stay up so that I can red ball back to where to the part that I'm missing when while live. Okay. So the topic of this live, I said submission. Can and should you submit to hi love always. Hi boo. Welcome. Can you submit to a broke man or a woman, right? And the reason that I two things, like a couple of things like kind of like made me wonder or like think about this topic and decide to write about it, right? One, I saw this clip on it was TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok and I think someone had it and it got shared. I don't know if it went viral or not, but it was a young man and he was like, well, if he's broke, why are you submitting to somebody broke? Like, ew. Like, ew, like how disgusting. Why should you be like submitting to someone if they're broke? What's the point, right? And to some extent I can, I can understand that. But and then also, like, if you see what's going on between like all these sectors, hey, Rockabye baby, how are you? Welcome. Details, how are you? Please like the video as you come in, and please, if you have a community wall, if you can share me out and get me in the algorithm, please. Details, good evening, welcome. Rockabye baby said, hell no, you have to pay the cost to be the boss. Right, right, right. I agree. But I do have some insight, but I didn't want it to be really based on my personal opinion, right? But I mean, I'm gonna give you guys what I feel, but everyone is entitled to, like how they feel. And what do you think of relationships that you see on YouTube? Do you see where they're like some of these YouTube ships, or the people that we find that they're in relationship, do you see where they submit? Like, do you feel that some of them are being submissive? Do you think that maybe some of them need to be submissive? Hey, talent. Talent said never submit to a bum. That should never be on the table. Okay. Talent, you have a relationship, and your relationship has been going strong. So I commend you, and I think, like, hey, definitely you're one to like give your opinion on this topic. Hey, third word Colombian, how are you? Good evening. Yes, all is well. Thank you. I've been exhausted. I was gone most of the day yesterday, and I was rarely on YouTube. I tried to, like, keep up and post, but I am still behind. Hi, Chat Red Boo. How are you? Welcome. Um, so I'm playing catch up. Okay, I'm still playing catch up. I still have videos that I need to like put from, like, I don't know, like days ago. So I am playing catch up. So as you come in, please like the video and share the video. Um, Okay, so I want to talk about submission. Okay, based on the topic, I already got some input, right? Some people already gave me their input. They're like, no, don't submit to a bum. Are there people who feel any different, right? Do you feel any different? Maybe the person, I wouldn't necessarily say like a bum. Maybe, maybe they have a disability. Maybe at the time, like maybe they lost their job, or maybe due to their circumstances, they're not able to, like be the provider. Does that mean you can submit to them? Hi, my boo. How are you? Welcome, babe. Um, okay. And then when you think of submission, right? Most of the time it's like the women submitting to men. I don't know where a man submits to a woman. Do you guys know of such a thing? I haven't seen that. Have you guys seen that? It usually is a woman, when you talk about submission, is a woman submitting to the man in the relationship, right? And then of course, if it's like a same sex, or LGBTQ, couples, it's up to them who they will have to make, like define who is the one that's playing the man role or the female role. It usually is the feminine person that is submitting to the more masculine person, right? Do you guys know of a place where, or of a couple or a relationship or a situation where a man submits to a woman knowingly, knowingly, or intentionally, or like, maybe they've talked about it? I don't know of such. I would say that I've seen a domineering woman, but I don't think that it's a willing submission on the man's part. I would say that that's just a woman being domineering. I don't see any comments, so I take that as a no, right? Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, so just to make sure, Rockabye Baby said, Stead. Oh, okay, but is that by choice though? Is that by choice? Do you think that Stedman? Do you think that he? Do you think that it was by choice that he did that, or is it because? Let me tell you. Yes, that's a good example. Is that because Oprah is Oprah. That's like, man, like you think of Oprah, you just think of a boss lady. She's well known. Not only is she a boss, she's charitable, she gives out stuff, and I don't necessarily see her being domineering per se. Maybe her personality and her power in the role, like in the position that she holds, she's very powerful, right? Do you think that that's why he just kind of fell back and is just there to support, or do you think that he really just is a submissive man? Yeah, you said whoever has the goal, oh, okay, makes the rule. Well, but should it be like that, right? But that's the thing. Should it be like that? Does that mean that money defines who is in charge in the relationship? Does that mean that money defines who plays a dominant role in the relationship? Should it be? Because in society it should be, and even in the Bible it says that the wife submits to the husband. So in society, should it be money? Is it money that dictates who submits, or who is the, should I say, more powerful person in the relationship? uh Okay, so Rockabye Baby says, in all circumstances, whoever has the money makes the rules. Okay, so and then 704 Valley said, it's according to the love you have for each other. Yes, thank you. I want to say that because there's a difference, right? Between if you look at what society expects and then you look at the relationship within itself, the two people involved in the relationship should be the ones defining what is good for them, right? Who's going to be dominant and who's not. Because if you go by money, there's a lot of women that make more money than the man. And if they are in charge, let me tell you, I have friends that the woman makes more money. And although some men say that it doesn't bother them, let me tell you, it bothers them because it does something to their ego. It does something to their ego, because I feel like in my friend's case, I feel like this was always used against her. She was weaponized based on the fact that she was making more money. Even though he didn't outright say it, but there were times when they would get in a fight. It was an indirect jab with the facts, like of the money, oh, the job, yeah, you gotta do, yeah, and I know you gotta go work. I know you have to do this. Yes, you're in your meetings. Yeah, you have to travel. Yeah, you have to do this. Yeah, you have to, like it's a jab, right? That's a jab at her because of, like the kind of job that she had. Uh, right. Okay, so according to the norm, so I try to like do my little research to find out like what is it that is expected, what's the norm, what are people doing out there, the people that do have these submissive relationships. I mean, and then what does it really mean when you're submitting, right? Okay, so to submit means it, to me, right, and trying to understand. I'm not an expert, I'm just like doing I'm just doing a show on, like submitting. I'm not an expert by no means. I'm sure that they're experts, but you can do your research on that. That means like you are selfless in the relationship, right? You're accountable, like, there's accountability in the relationship. There's respect. There has to be respect. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, you should only submit in a healthy relationship. This applies to a healthy relationship. You cannot be submissive in an unhealthy or toxic relationship, because I feel like that is what's the right word for it? I feel like if you're submitted in an unhealthy relationship, be it that the roles, like you guys haven't, like maybe you guys haven't been dating for a long time, you can submit in a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, husband wife relationship. Watching from Cloud Nine. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Um, you can submit it, but it has to be mutual respect, and you guys have to talk about it, right? I would say you don't immediately submit to someone you haven't really known for long, because it takes time to get to know a person before you start, like submitting to a person. Um, and then when you say submit, does that mean you lose your voice? Absolutely not. I don't think you lose your voice. That's the whole thing where you have a mutual respect for one another and the fact that you've kind of known that person for some time, right? So, if you are, if you are submitting, if it's a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, or like Christians, there are some women, there are devout Christians who like they believe, according to the Bible, that the wife has to submit to the husband, right? um and some may say, I don't know, what are your thoughts on this? Some may say no, it just means that I submit my whole self to serve either the man or the husband, whether you're married or in a long-term relationship. Okay. Um, so when you say submit, like, do you submit to everything? Do you just submit your mind, your soul, your decision making? You don't a good healthy relationship, you don't lose your voice. That's the whole point. You don't lose your voice, right? You are not supposed to lose your voice. You're supposed to have respect for each other. You're supposed to check on each other what your desires are, what the person likes. You're supposed to be respectful. That's why it is for a healthy relationship. Not someone you just met. You should not be submitting to someone you just met, someone you just started dating. Hey, Dom Play, how are you? You should not be submitting to someone that you just met, okay? And as I mentioned before, should it be gender specific, right? Should it always be the woman submitting to the man? I think mostly it's the woman submitting to the man. I've never seen where the man submits to the woman. Not knowingly. I mean, unless it's like a domineering. Okay, Rockabye maybe mentioned the example of Oprah and Stedman, right? Okay, that's a good example. But I don't know, did he like willingly submit, or he just kind of fell back like, yeah, she got it. She doesn't really, she's at the forefront and I'm just gonna be in the back and I'm gonna support her. It could be that, it could be, that kind of a situation, right? So should it be gender specific? Who knows? I mean, it depends on the relationship, right? If the man wants to submit, sure, why not? Maybe he's getting some benefit, but does that tend to emasculate the man? Yes, it does, right? Because what do people say of Stedman? People hardly know who he is. Do we know if he has a business? I bet you he has his own like business and probably successful and all of that, but people think of him connected to Oprah, right? That's Oprah's man. That's Oprah's puppet, or that's Oprah's whatever, right? So it does tend to emasculate a man when it appears that the man is the one submitting to the woman. Okay, Rockabye Baby said a good relationship should be based on a compromise. Yes. Submission is surrendering your will. Exactly. And most of the time it's women that are surrendering, right? And how are you doing that? You are doing that by, just being responsive to whatever the man or whoever it is that you're submitting to, just being like responsive to what their desire, what they want, right? If they want you to behave a certain way, or if they expect certain things, like for example, there are people that are housewives, or even if you work, like the role of submission is letting the man take the lead. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to conform to like the gender roles, like, oh, the woman always has to cook and the woman has to take care of the kids. It's whatever is in the confines of your relationship, right? In order for this submission to be successful and one doesn't feel like they've lost themselves in the relationship, because I think I see that happen. Like in the case of my friend, I feel like she's a very like, she has strong personality. I wouldn't want to say like dominant, not domineering, right? You can be dominant and have a strong personality and not be, like overly or overtly dominating a man, right? And her case, whenever her relationship ended, I feel like she had lost herself, and um I feel like she felt like she had to start all over again. She didn't know like where to start, because she had been with this man. She gave up the job and decided, okay, I'm going to fall back. I'm gonna like take care of the kids at home. I'm gonna let him take the lead. He was the breadwinner, right? um he made most of the decisions and all of that. But then whenever their marriage ended, it was like, to her saying to me, wow, I can't believe like all this time I could have been doing this, I could have been doing that, and I didn't do that. So it's like she felt lost, because now she had to come out in the real world. She had to like go back to the job market. She had to like go back to school and finish all those things that she wanted to do, that she kind of like just stopped doing because she got in this relationship. They got married, they had kids, and she just kind of became submissive, right? Okay, let me read the comments. Understanding and communication and submission will go both ways. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I feel like that's the case. And I want to say that I feel like she lost herself, right? So in this type of relationship, maybe they didn't really, or maybe, like they didn't really define what that entails. Like maybe they didn't really submission doesn't mean you lose yourself. Now, after a while she did get a hobby. She was making, I mean, she did, I think she started like an in-home business while she was taking care of the kids. She started like a little business that, was it on Etsy? I feel like it was on Etsy. And it was, I mean, it was really good. But those are the things that she found to keep herself busy, because she wasn't working. When the kids got old enough to go to school, she was still taking care of them and all that. But it was a long time of not working and having the man be the lead. And I can't really pinpoint if anything really happened for them to fall apart, but I think it's over time, not defining like what you want in the relationship, and then just kind of like losing yourself, and what's the word, losing yourself, and I guess kind of like like dividing your communication, not dividing your communication, but like a distance grew between them, really. Basically that's what it is. um Detail says he is super powerful in his own right. Who, Stedman? Right. I think that's the thing. But do we really know a whole lot about him, or do we know of the domineering person in the relationship, who is Oprah? Right. He's known as, oh, that's Oprah's man. Right. Not the other way around, because she's the dominant one. Hi, Vibrant Boo. How are you? Yeah. So, with my friend, I saw this happen, and when like the relationship fell apart, I was kind of shocked. I'm like, okay, well, so what happened? But they just kind of grew apart, and I feel like it's the whole gender role, and I could feel the resentment, right, from her, because all these years she gave up a lot of stuff, and now she has to start over. Meanwhile, he was always working. He was a breadwinner. Um, they now have kids, and she's pretty much the one taking care of the kids. Maybe he provides like financial support, but that's about it, right? She lost, I want to say, probably like 15 years of her identity, being in this relationship that I feel like, I think the intent was good, but I think it was one of those things where the roles and accountability was not clearly defined, right? Byron says, I think Stedman was a pro. Okay, so some people like tend to think that he is a beer, because there's this rumor that Gail and Oprah allegedly are an item, but who knows? They've been together, never married, right? Not that we know of, right? All this time, they've never married, and I think she's talked about it and he's talked about it. They never felt the need to. Their relationship is perfect the way it is. Now, there are people that will be together for 20, 30 something years, and then they go and sign papers and get married, and then shortly after they do the official getting married, all of a sudden they fall apart or they break up, right? So I don't really blame them. There are states that recognize common law. I don't know, where did they live? I don't even think in their case it matters, right? I don't think it matters in their case. This TV is distracting me. I don't think in their case, because they've been together for so long, and I'm sure like they have stuff well documented, and they have like in all of that stuff, insurance, all of the assets and all that defined. I'm pretty sure. I mean, they've been together. They've been together longer than people who are officially married, right? Um, okay, so then I have in my okay, so then I think I already covered about like what does it mean to be submissive, right? Like you just have to know your partner. You have to be submissive to their expectations, and you have to be submissive for the woman, right? I'm not a man. I can only talk from a woman's perspective. Being submissive meaning like being vulnerable, being in tune with what it is that he expects, right? Um, like who are these people that Kevin Samuels, he talks about the high value man and all of that. Hey, viewers of you, how are you? Thank you so much for sharing my video. Thank you, I appreciate it. Like there are people that will say, yes, I'm going to submit to a man, right? Like at the beginning we talked about, yeah, some people said here, rockabye baby, and then even Talent was like, yeah, no, you don't submit to a bum. Yeah, of course, a provider, you submit to a provider. Listen, if the man has money, and the man, naturally a man, men are supposed to be providers. Men are supposed to like take care of the household and all of that stuff. But in society, let's be real, women also do. Like there are cases where a woman is a breadwinner, there are cases where it's like 50-50 or whatever percentage it is, but it's both, it's mutual, right? So should you only submit if it's like a high value man? There are people that talk about it in society today. That's not how I was raised, okay? So my idea is a little different. My idea is like, you support the man. I'm not like looking for, oh, I'm gonna look for a high value man. I wasn't brought up like that. So I don't know, that if anything, that's just society and seeing what transpires in our society and what becomes more acceptable, that is, or the trend, right? Or the trend. And people, but I don't think it necessarily has to be a high value man for you to submit. Now, should you submit to a broke person? I don't know. I don't know. But if you feel that you're being taken advantage of and the person brings nothing to the relationship, what are you submitting to? Right? They could, if the person is broke and maybe it's a temporary situation, can you submit? Yes, absolutely. You can submit, because that person, if it's the man that is the broke person, if it's a man that is a broke person or that has a situation where they're not able to, like do a lot of the norm, maybe they can provide stuff like emotional. They can, like fix stuff around the house. That's like what submission is. You allow the man to do, like be the protector, be the provider, um, do all those manly things that men do around the house. Like go, I don't know, is getting food or coffee, is that a manly thing? I mean, you can, it's all within what you define in your relationship, right? Hey, you gotta chill. How are you? Welcome. They say high value men cheat. Yes, exactly. Well, it depends, okay, but not all of them do. All of them cheat. But I feel like it's when a woman doesn't, when she completely submits and kind of loses herself, and you give one person in the relationship all of the power. Yeah, he feels like he can do whatever he wants, right? He can do whatever he wants because he's basically paying everything for you. If you have nothing to offer in the relationship, yeah. I mean, I think that's a norm, right? Now, do they cheat for whatever reason? Who knows? But I'm just saying, if you're in a relationship where one person is not really bringing anything to the table, be it emotionally, be it, like in the means of, like being there or being a protector, being a provider. Provider doesn't always mean money, right? You can be a provider in many other ways, right? You can, like I said, you can do stuff around the house. You can make your partner feel loved in so many different ways. It's all about how you treat the person. In my opinion, that's what I think, right? I don't think by any means, under any circumstance, that submissive means you lose who you are and then you just become like a, what's the word, like a lame duck in a relationship. No, because that's going to build resentment. That's not an even relationship, right? It's not. So you think, excuse me. So you think, all right, so what's the benefit, right? You're talking about submission. There could be several benefits to submitting, right? If you are submitting to a man, I would think that that person feels like, especially for us women, right? Like let me use an, I'm a black woman, so I'm gonna talk based on what is expected, society expects of us, what is a norm, what I have felt like growing up as an adult who works, who's been in relationship and all of that, right? Rockabye Baby said, but can you respect someone that doesn't provide? Exactly. Let me just tell you, right? As a black woman, that right when things happen, society expects us to be strong, or the people in your family or your friends, they expect you to be strong. Or like that whole thing, the strong black woman. But we get tired of the whole strong black woman. But you're still a person, and inside you have vulnerabilities. Inside you have concerns, you're scared and stuff, but you have to step up and be the strong black person. But it's a mask, right? You have to do it because you need to persevere in whatever the situation is, right? You put on that mask, you do it, but the man is there. If that man is not supporting, that man is not really getting to know you, the real you that's vulnerable, the real you that is feeling like, oh my gosh, I want to cry, or you just start crying, or like whatever. But we face adversity and we are expected to put on a mask, and we feel like we have to put on a mask and be strong, right? um but then after that, that whole situation passes. Are you going to go back to your normal self? Are you going to be vulnerable because you're so used to, okay, putting on the cape and putting on the mask, like I'm going to solve the problem? I know I've done it. Okay? So I'm talking from personal experience. I know as a black woman, I've done it, right? But yes, it's good for the situation, but is it good all the time? No, you get tired of being that strong person. You also need comfort. So I think that's where it comes for us to be a little more vulnerable, right? Let the man step in and feel like, let me be a man, I can protect you. Let me be a man and understand that you're sad. I can make you feel better. I can make you feel happy. And that has nothing to do with money, right? Absolutely nothing to do. It's just feeling vulnerable and allowing him to lead, allowing him to see that you need him. And if he's able to be there and be protective, I think it will make you guys closer. That's my own personal experience, right? Rockabye Baby said, but can you respect someone that doesn't provide? Um, for me personally, can I respect the person if they don't provide? When you say provide, if it's a relationship and is he providing other things? Let's say you're married, right? Definitely, you gotta provide. If you have kids, yeah, you gotta provide within the household. If you are a boyfriend and girlfriend, yes, when you talk about providing, you're not talking about him helping pay your bills. I mean, hey, if he can pay your bills, absolutely, pay my bills. I want someone to cash out me. Damn, no one cash apps me. Like maybe a few. I don't like cash app me. Damn it, cash app me, right? Send me some cash app and say, like, here's some, did you have coffee? Did you have breakfast? Here, buy you some breakfast. So whatever. For the cutesy thing is, like just showing that you're thinking of the person that's providing. Is not, like maybe it's a relationship that just started. You do little things, buying flowers, doing, like keeping in touch with how that person is feeling. Are you emotionally aware of how your partner is feeling? Do you know that person? Do you know how they're feeling? Do you understand what their desires is? And if you understand the desire, are you submitting to the desire? You can submit sexually, you can submit emotionally, you can, like, that's a form of submission, right? uh you gotta you gotta just say, I try submission. People will only be loyal if yes, I agree. Listen, I cannot submit to someone who, if you're saying that I'm submitting, right? Like the norm is that a woman is submitting to a man. I can submit when I feel that you're also giving some things to me. It cannot be a one-way submission. Hey, Poppy, how are you? I cannot be submitting to you and I'm getting nothing in return, right? I'm getting nothing. I need something in return. I can submit. For me, I have a strong personality. I'm nice, I'm all that, but I do have a strong personality. I do have a strong opinion outside of YouTube. I don't know if you guys can tell that I do on YouTube, but in real life, I do have a strong personality. I do have strong opinions. However, I'm very feminine. I'm girly. I like my girly stuff. You can say, oh, like, some people, like with the high value men, oh, she's too high maintenance, she's too this. Now, I do all of that, but I can do it for myself. If a man wants to come and do it for me, sure. You want to come do it for me, pay for me to get my nails done, pay for me to do my hair and the wigs and all of that stuff. Sure, why not? Who doesn't love that? Of course. Why should I spend my money if you're offering to do it for me? By all means, go right ahead. That's part of the give and take in a relationship, right? And it cannot be a one-sided submission. Like if I feel that I'm loyal to someone and then they're not loyal to me, what the heck is that about? Like that's like a one-way relationship. Hey landlord, how are you? Hey YouTube camera question. Are you Nigerian? Maybe I am. I could be. I could be landlord. I could be. I just could be. I just could. I just could be. Rockabye Baby said, no, a broke man can't make me feel anything. Maybe the broke man, why is he broke? Okay, is he temporarily broke? Is he broke because something happened and he's just broke for the time being until maybe he gets another job or gets on his feet? Maybe he's very caring. Maybe he's very in tune with like all the stuff. Maybe the sex is good. Maybe there's other stuff that is good. However, if he's broke and then he's bad, I mean, I agree. But talent was here earlier, and talent was like, absolutely not. You should never submit to a broke man. That's what talent said. That's a man's perspective. Okay, DJ, fuck you, sue me. You. DJ, fuck you, sue me. Says submit to my shrimp. I have a problem with speaking my mind, and I don't know how to lie. Okay, me too. I have a problem with speaking my mind, and sometimes I can be really raw. But I'm only like that with people that I'm very close to. So I tend to keep a lot of stuff to myself, right? You have to, it depends. Like I think in the beginning I mentioned, you have to, like, if you start a relationship, you're not gonna submit right away. I don't think that's a good idea because you don't know that person that well enough. It takes time to understand your partner and then decide how you're gonna submit. DJ Fuck You Sumi is a shrimp sucker investigator. He said that you should submit to his shrimp. He likes shrimp suckers. Okay, that's his thing. Um, yeah. So for me, yes, I there are times where you don't really you have to know the person you're with. You don't always have to say everything you're thinking, right? Not right away. I would say not right away, right? I'm not saying lie. I'm just saying withhold the information until you've known the person enough or until the circumstance is correct or you feel that you trust that person enough because sometimes that could cause problems in a relationship where you out, like, let's say, like the people that are saying you cannot be with a submit to a broke man. Yes, Pavi, that's what I've been calling him. I call him a shrimp sucker investigator because He like goes around looking for like new shrimp suckers. That's what he does. That's what I've been calling him the past month. Another one, do you reciprocate a little bit when it comes to financial issues? Yes, absolutely. I do. Right? Why? Because everybody's different. Maybe, that person offers a whole lot more. Like let's say if it's the man, right? That person brings a lot more to the table, and maybe like the salary scale or whatever is not even, and maybe you get to pay a little more of the bills, or maybe you offer more. It all depends on the relationship, right? What is the reason why you're having to do all that? Have you guys like agreed on have you guys agreed on that? And you know it's a compromise, right? That's the whole point. 'Cause, landlord said, because it sounds like you will only be submissive if he's spending. Do you match? um I don't, I mean, me speaking personally, I don't think that it has to be that only when he spends that I will be submissive. Then that's not like a really truly, this dog, I don't know what she's doing. That's not like truly a like a submissive relationship. It shouldn't be a conditional relationship, right? Um okay. So is that why landlord mentioned that? I mean, but that's like it's not even just Rockabye Baby said you gotta chill. Hold on. Let me go catch up. DJ, that's a new series you should. Yes, I call him the Shrimp Sucker Investigator. He needs to start a series. He needs to name a show called Shrimp Suckers Investigator. You gotta chill. Say shrimps are small. Yes, exactly. Well, ask DJ. He's the one that's what he says. Rockabye Baby says landlord mentioned Nigeria. Are you alluding to the fact that submission is in African culture? Listen, yes, it is, but it's not. That's not just the only place that's not the only culture that has like women being submissive. And even in African culture, they have also westernized. They had like the whole women empowerment stuff, and there are situations where women make more money than men. So even in those cultures where traditionally they're most of them are submissive to the men, they also have women who play the more dominant role. So I would say that that's just worldwide. Hi BMTV, how are you? You said for dinner, or are you cooking dinner tonight? Man, did you see my, are you sub to my other channel? I had shrimp with wild mushroom. That was my dinner. But I feel like it was like too harsh for my stomach. Um, this is why I have to meal prep. Anyway, so you gotta chill said, I just want respect and loyalty. If you want to waste money, that's on. Yes, for me, like I would say the most important things in a relationship, one, that there's trust, that you understand each other, there's mutual respect. You cannot have a submissive partner in an unhealthy relationship, because one, it's already unhealthy. You submitting to a toxic person, yeah, I don't know how well that's gonna go. What is that person? Is that person giving up anything? Is that person doing anything? Like what do they bring to the table, right? If both of you are toxic, should you be submitting to each other? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe you submit to whatever you define in your relationship. But I would say like the first thing is that you don't lose yourself, right? You don't lose yourself. And in a relationship, it's a give and take. If there's no give and take, it's very hard for it to be an even, kill. It's very hard for you have the one person feels like you're obligated to give them certain things. The other feels like maybe they don't have a voice, right? So I think that there has to be openness. Probably, maybe you guys discuss it if you want to submit. Are you familiar with the Passport Brothers? I've heard people say that. Who are those people? Rockabye Baby. Who are the Passport Brothers? You and your ribs. You take your ribs and you go eat your ribs. You know that I cannot eat meat. I told you I had shrimp. You are just taunting me with meat, and I don't really feel like eating meat. I've gone meatless long enough to like where it doesn't bother me anymore. I can look at meat or hear the ribs, even though it sounds good, it doesn't bother me. Who are the Passport Brothers? Rockabye Baby. I've heard people say that. Uh okay, so for women, right? It's usually like I was saying, it's usually the woman that that is the one that is submitting in the relationship. And to some people, like, yeah, it can make you feel more feminine. You feel more. But listen, for me, I do have strong opinions. My personality can be strong, but I think that I can submit certain things. But I feel like it has to. For me, I cannot submit to someone who's not giving up anything. If I'm gonna submit, you gotta tell me what I have to. It's like a give and take. I cannot be like 100% submissive, and then that's not even possible. That's not possible for me at all. Okay, it cannot. I do like a manly man. I like a dominant man. Uh, I don't like beta men. I mean, I have beta men as friends. I like for the man to, like do the manly stuff around the house. I like the man to take charge. I like the man to be like considerate and caring and like be thoughtful. Who doesn't like that, right? And if you want to pay for me to get my hair done, and if you want to pay for me to get my nails done, look at these nails. Like these things are not cheap, right? They're not cheap to do. Um, that's a bonus. It doesn't mean that you have to be like financially paying for stuff for me to submit, right? For some women, it's like that. It depends. It depends on your relationship, right? Uh, Rockabye Baby said black men that are moving to Africa, the Caribbeans, Brazil, seeking women of other cultures because they say black women in the country are not submissive. Well, they will be like really awaken when they go over there. Hi, Miss Dovey, how are you? Welcome. They will be really awakened when they go over there. Yes, they you will find a lot of them there still are submissive. The men there are still I mean the women are still submissive, but you will find a lot of them that will be looking for the man to pay for stuff. Like if they want to go to the store, okay, give me money to go to the grocery store, right? They'll be looking for the man to pay. If the man is not really paying, what's gonna happen? They're gonna look elsewhere. They can go over there and look for that. But listen, these countries have also westernized. They look to the US, they look to like all these westernized countries, they adapt those things as well. I'm not saying that it's completely gone. Majority of it is still there. I believe it's still there. Um, oh, Miss Dozy. Majority of it is still there, and I feel that I feel that that is the reason why you're moving there. Fine, but hopefully they have gone there to see the culture. You cannot just make the assumptions, right? Like for different developing countries, like in African countries and the Caribbeans, you have to know like there's certain tribes, there's certain you have to study all the characteristics before you just pack up and move and go there because you can't make assumption, oh, those people are more submissive and stuff. Please believe that just because you move there doesn't mean you're gonna find the women that are not submissive. Okay, traditionally, yes, they are, but you'll find like people that you find a lot of things, right? Because before in these countries, they didn't have everything was natural, like the chicken and stuff. But now, when you go to the grocery store, have you ever gone to any of these countries? I have. You go and you go to the supermarket, and you're like, damn, this is like all the things that we find in the US. You see, like like the frozen chicken and the frozen food, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I expect, right? You see that, but there's still a majority of it that is, natural and it's in the garden and they eat a lot of natural stuff. The same goes with the culture, right? And the women. All right. So anyone have anything else? I want to keep it under an hour, right? Um, okay. I think I talked about I talked about, like women being forced to be a certain way, like under adversity and stuff. And that is, it's like wearing a mask, and especially us Black women, right? Hey, Quindiva, how are you? Welcome. Especially us women, right? We Black women, we tend to, if the kids or family members facing something, we tend to put on a mask. I talked about that, and try to be the strong person, but never like having someone to take care of our own emotions, or just being emotionally vulnerable, right? I can say that about myself. I know that that is true about me. So I think part of being submissive is just letting go and letting your partner, like, you know, see you vulnerable and having them take care of you. Um, what's the thing where it's like the damsel in distress? Do you see how sometimes you have to do that, right? You don't always have to be the strong person. Do you always have to be the strong person? Part of that submission is like, hey, I kind of need you. I'm emotional right now, and you just let the man take the lead. um, I think that for them, it allows them to feel like, oh, she trusts me. I can take care of her. And I think that also, like, it's kind of attractive when the man is doing the man's role, which is being a provider and taking care of you. Hey, Adam Sphere, how are you? Welcome. So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? You guys have, I'm looking at like all the other stuff that I had wrote down. Right. I think I talked about that, like following his masculine energy, and then in the bedroom, like just, his desire. But don't submit to stuff that you don't like. Like these people, like, oh, well, my man said he wanted a threesome and then we did it, but I didn't really want to do it. Okay, well, you have to define all of these things, right? You don't want to lose yourself and do stuff that you don't want to do. Hi, Unc. How are you? Welcome. You don't want to do all these things that like you don't feel comfortable doing. That's like losing yourself, right? Yes, you're submitting, but you want to have a discussion about what you're submitting to. And it has to be healthy for you. You can't, because what's going to happen is if you submit unwillingly, you're going to have resentment over time. And you don't want that. That's not healthy for a relationship. Being submissive means being, like available emotionally to be able to talk about the situation, whatever it is, discuss it and be healthy about it. Hey, Bronze Flat Power God, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys, if he wants to try like certain things in the bedroom, yeah, submitting to that. What are his desires? What does he like? Submitting to that in the bedroom. Does he want to like be sexual for hours and hours? Yeah, submit to that, right? That's part of, like submitting. That is part of submitting in your relationships, sexually, emotionally, being vulnerable, and all of that. Do you guys agree, or do you think absolutely not? For those that think no, I will never submit to someone. He had landlord said, does that mean he has to be paying for something for you to submit? If you feel that, well, he has to be like a provider in order for me to submit. If he's not doing that, does that mean you're not submitting to anything sexually? Does that mean you're not submitting at all? That is a question, right? Okay, so what else, right? For a man to be worthy of submission, ladies, or even men, what are some of the attributes? What are some of the characteristics for a man for you to say, okay, I'm going to submit to this man, right? I said, don't submit in a new relationship because you don't have enough time to be able to evaluate this person and know like who they are, and if you want to like really submit. What what are the attributes in a man that makes you want to submit to a man, right? For me, I don't like beta men. If you're a beta man, that means I can walk all over you. So that's not an attractive trait. That means no. Because I have a strong personality. I know myself. I might try to be nice and, be cool in the beginning, but it's gonna be easy for me to walk all over you. So that's not attractive, right? So for me, I like intellectual man. I like a man that can have an intellectual conversation. And I think like being intelligent is attractive to most women, right? If a woman captures, like if you capture a woman's attention and you're having like deep conversation, yeah, see, look at Miss Dovia agrees. If you are having like a deep conversation and you're enjoying the I like mental and emotional, like stimulation. It doesn't always necessarily have to be, like financial or physical, right? If I feel like you can be fulfilled by, you look forward to talking to that person. They, like they always have a lot to make you, they improve you, or they help add emotional intelligence to you. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, what else? That person needs to be attentive, right? The person needs to be attentive. What is a point of talking to someone and they don't listen, right? Half of the time they're not even like paying attention. How would they get to know you if they're not attentive? How would they get to know what you like if they're not attentive? How would they know to do some of the things that you like? Because you know it's a mutual thing, right? It's a relationship. They have to be able to understand you. If they're not attentive, like let's say you're talking to them and maybe they're holding another conversation or they're scrolling through their phones, you think that they're attentive? Or maybe they're on YouTube. They're on YouTube. They're trying to find out who's fighting with who. Like they're trying to watch videos or they're trying to watch live. Does that mean that they're inattentive? Do you like that? Would you submit to someone that is inattentive? I wouldn't. Not that I wouldn't. I'm just saying it makes it difficult for me to, because what is the point? Like I might as well talk to my dog, talk to the wall, talk to something, like anything, because you're not listening. You're not paying attention to what I'm saying, right? You're not paying attention to my needs. So how can you be in a relationship and you're not, like you're not paying attention, right? Okay. There have to be I think I talked about, they have to be responsive, right? Being responsive means that, like you guys are talking, you don't want someone that can communicate well. You want someone that if you ask for something or if you guys need to do something, that person is responsive. If you text the person and they don't respond, that's not being responsive. If you need to go do something at a certain time and then you don't see them or they don't show up, that's not responsive. Queen Diva, hi. I think I said hi. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to say hi. Rockabye Baby said intelligent, health conscious, make me laugh, spiritual. Yes, laughter is like, that's what I'm saying. Laughter, like all the just conversation. That's what I say. There's a lot you can do that's not financial that you can bring to a relationship, right? Laughter, like for me, if I'm laughing, I love to laugh. I love to watch, like things that capture my attention, solving mystery, like all these murder mystery I did discover. I used to watch before YouTube. Those are the things that I used to watch, right? I could be That could be a date for me, like to sit and watch that, or even, a show. It doesn't have to be like, financial stuff. Health conscious, yes, because I don't want to be with someone that, is not health conscious and they just like, do whatever. I care about what I eat, right? I take care of myself. I like to be presentable, and that's just how I was raised, right? um a genuine person in the relationship, right? You want a genuine person. You don't want someone that's fake or presenting a false persona to you, right? You want to get the real person. And the reason I say you can't be submissive in the beginning, because you don't know, it takes time to know a real person, maybe 3 months. I don't know what is the time frame to get to know someone. Who knows? It's up to you, right? Maybe you guys talk on the phone or talk online or whatever before who knows how long. Sometimes it really takes a really long time and you still really don't know the person, but you have to gauge, you have to gauge the relationship to see, right? And then you have to trust him to take you to places you've never been to. And that could be emotionally, that could be sexually, that could be, like in real, like in reality, like just being adventurous, right? Those are the things that are attractive that make women submit to men in a relationship. Um, right? And part of that is like you trust his choices, you trust when you trust him and you start to see that he cares and you feel like you can let go and be at ease, then you can trust him to kind of lead the way. That's the whole point of being submissive. Not that he will dictate everything and not that you don't have a choice. I find sometimes it's sexy when a man tells you exactly what's gonna happen or tells you what to do or orders you. Have you guys ever experienced that a man will tell you, "Yes, I need you to do this, and this is how you're gonna do it." Okay, yes, I'm gonna do it. Have you guys ever felt that? Right? It depends, especially not like ordering you around, but it could be like in a sexual way, or it could be just like a take charge kind of way. I think that is attractive, right? That's why I like manly men. I don't like hi Montrese, how are you? Welcome. Right? And how what other ways can a woman like let the man feel like it doesn't have to be like all about money, right? You can ask him for help. Ask him for help if you're used to doing stuff on your own, he can help you with stuff. You can ask him and then maybe he'll feel a certain way like, oh wow, she really trusts me or she's really depending on me to do this, so let me go ahead and do it. Like that's another form of submission and letting him know that, hey, I trust you and I'm counting on you to do this for me and deliver. That's another way of submission, right? Um you just find other ways to like tell them. Now, this is for a healthy relationship, right? This is a healthy relationship. I'm talking about in the confines of a healthy relationship. Anything that's unhealthy, well, that's just unhealthy, right? Um, so what are your thoughts? I'm gonna go ahead and those are like all of the what's the word, all of the not definition, but that's like what as far as like this relationship and being submissive, are there things that maybe also like that I didn't talk about that you know can define or maybe like show other ways to be submissive outside of the things that I already talked about? Anything else to be added? Are there other ways that people are being submissive that is like successful or that is, I don't want to say trendy, right? I don't want to say trendy, but that's like makes for a good healthy relationship. Is there anything else that you feel that partners, not just women, right? Because it can be same sex, you have to define who is the one that's gonna be the submissive one. Are there anything else that define being submissive, right? Or uh what else defines, like being submissive in a relationship, right? Those are all the things that I have thought. Okay, so I was thinking somebody said I was gonna say what are some of the submissive celebrity relationships. Okay, Rockabye Baby mentioned Stedman and Oprah. Who else? Who else are the other celebrity? Oh, what about Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union? What do you guys think? Do you think do you think in this case, do you think that it's like half and half, or do you think that Dwayne is the more submissive one in the relationship? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Because I would say that theirs is not a traditional relationship. Just knowing her personality is very strong, right? And He just seems quiet most of the time. What do you think? Do you think that that relationship, do you think he is more submissive or she is submissive? Or do you think that it's 50-50? What are your thoughts? In the right in the comment section. Like if you guys are still here, put it in the comment section. Do you think that between Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, who is more who is more dominant in the relationship? No, I think that Gabrielle Union is more dominant in the relationship. That's just my opinion, right? Um, what do you guys think? Um, I'm trying to think of who else has a submissive. Ooh, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. That's another relationship. What do you think about that relationship? Do you think one is more submissive than the other? Well, clearly, I don't think that Jada is submissive. Now, I don't know what that relationship entails. Maybe they have an open relationship, but I think maybe it's like 50-50. They get to do whatever they want. So in this case, I really don't think anybody's submissive. Who else in a celebrity relationship? I'm trying to think. Who else is in a celebrity relationship that is more that displays either the opposite or that is more submissive? Um, I'm trying to think. Actually, I could even like look it up. But those are the ones that I thought of. He said anyone that dates the Kardashians. You're so right. How did I forget about them? Yes. How the heck did I forget about them? The way that they go through men, right? Because okay, so here's an example: Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, right? Anyone that dates a Kardashian, yes, like they basically, you know how a man when you're in a relationship or at least when you get married, right? You are supposed to really like adopt the man's family, but in this case, whether they're in a relationship or married, because of their celebrity or whatever, the man always comes over to their side and then they become part of their show. And then at some point I think their mom always ends up managing these guys. So that like an example was Kim Kardashian, right? And Kanye West. They actually ended up getting married. Now, everybody was shocked because Kanye, he's very outspoken, he's very whatever. And I guess after a while of being together and being married, like something happened. Maybe he got tired of the whole confines of the relationship. Maybe he got tired of being controlled, right? It seems like in that relationship, because I would say that is the longest one that Kim Kardashian herself has had. I think she tried to submit, right? It appeared because I read some stuff where it appeared that she seemed to submit. However, with that kind of family, she may have submitted, but outwardly it still looked like they were running the show, right? Um, she kind of felt back a little bit and he was like more in the front runner as far as like dictating even when they were dating, right? I think they did it shortly and then they got married. Like he picked her outfit. I kind of like that, right? Like if the man can pick my outfit and stuff, if it matches and it looks good, yes, I think that's sexy. So he did that. He like dressed her because he had like his friend was one of his best friend was like a designer at was it Balenciaga, and also he had like his own line of clothing. So like he would dress her. She kind of fell back. She was a little submissive. However, overall, they still like are very dominant. They're a very dominant family. Like all of them because so much of their life is on TV. So much like a lot of them are in each other's business. They're in like their mom is in their business, their mom is in the relationship business and all of that. So it appears that they're always very domineering, right? Kim Kardashian did seem a little bit submissive. I can't say that. I think in the beginning she was. Um, but I think for someone like him, this is where, the this kind of person, it's a very strong family. She would have to submit a lot in order for that relationship to have been very successful, right? Because it seemed like after a while he just kind of got fed up with the whole thing and he broke loose and kind of lost his mind. And he kind of lost his mind. And then if you think about it, I would say this is the most that I saw Kim Kardashian submit, right? At least from the public, from what we saw, right? She had the thing with, like, was it Reggie Bush? I never seen her like really be submissive. Now Chloe, I wouldn't say submissive. I would say being taken advantage of, right? And she always ends up with these people that take advantage of her. And then the other sisters, I'm not really sure, but it's always like the entire family is the same thing, right? Because they're very prominent and in the public eye. And these guys, and they always date basketball players or whatever, and they seem to be very domineering and kind of affect the relationship in maybe in a negative way, maybe in a positive way temporarily, in the sense that their notoriety of their partners increases. But on the court, if they're professional, have you noticed that it really doesn't help them professionally? So that goes to show you that, like this whole the role of being submissive and all of that. I mean, I think it kind of affects the relationship. Okay, that is all I have. Does anybody have anything else to say? Do you guys want me to drop the link? I normally don't drop the link. I was gonna keep this an hour. Did you like the topic? Is there something else that you would like for me to cover that, like I didn't cover? I have been here for an hour and 12 minutes, and um, I feel like it was an important discussion. I got some inputs from the chat, and I do appreciate you guys participating and showing up for the discussion. Are there people on YouTube in these sectors that you feel like are in a submissive relationship or should be in a submissive relationship? Some of these relationships, listen, some of them are cute, right? Some of them are unhealthy, some of them are toxic, but some of them are good. Some of them, could they be a little more submissive and maybe stuff? They no one thing I can tell you is that they could share less. That way, it doesn't affect their relationship. They could share less and not let YouTube affect their relationship. I know that it's entertaining for us, but when everybody turns off YouTube and they're a real life friendship or relationship, then they have to deal with the ramifications or whatever comes out of it. But anyway, enough of my ranting. If you catch this on the replay, please thumbs up the video, share it, leave a comment. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my video. I do have other channels. I do have YouTube cameras. If you go in my about section, you will find information about my other channels. I have a backup channel I do post on there. And then I also have another page, YouTube Cameras Reloaded. So please feel free to visit those pages and subscribe. And thank you for all the support. I will see you in my next one. Bye.